Because every video is someone's first, A Life Well Played is a channel dedicated to men's health and gaming. I want to facilitate a positive environment for us to get together and share our collective knowledge. This is how we get stronger. If you want to jump right into men's health section, check out the timestamp in the description below. 2024 kicked off with thousands of developers being laid off. This is a continuing trend from the massive layoffs of 2023. This is coupled with game price hikes and a new early access trend that sees players who pay an additional fee, normally around $30, get to play their game a week or two early. Add in that single player games have become too expensive as a whole to be sustainable, and physical game media being phased out to cut out the cost of the middleman. What we are seeing is a major shift in what gaming is going to look like for the foreseeable future. Rocksteady was a highly respected development team who produced one of the most beloved single-player superhero franchises in the Arkham series. You would not know this based off of their long-awaited new game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. This is a game of service with the normal live service trends that you have come to expect and loathe. Why is that? Why would a developer who created the best Batman game ever completely change what they did well and step into a realm of live service? It could have been WB, or it could have been the allure of constant revenue that's too appealing when the cost of development is so high. Remember, when they started development on this game, live service was popular. But now, we have seen a steep decline in popularity for a number of reasons. We saw the release of Palworld and it hit hard. Players have been having a ball with this early access game, and that is absolutely great. But there's still an issue. It's an early access game, so even if only partially, you are paying for the game that isn't finished. Game Pass has Palworld as part of their subscription, and that's a great thing. I love Game Pass. I think it is the best deal in gaming, but even still, there's issues. Subscriptions are built on the hope that even if you are not playing any games on it, you will keep it because it's an automatic draft like Netflix or a gym membership. Like now, I have been working my way through Baldur's Gate 3 for the past month plus, and even though I tried out Palworld, I'm not actively playing it, which means that they are getting $20 from me even though I'm not using the service. So what do all three, live service, early access, and subscription service have in common? All three are playgrounds that you are a test subject for and you pay over time. In the comments below, tell me which one you prefer out of the three, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me give you my thoughts. Games as a Service was a 10-year experiment starting with Destiny, and as Destiny seems to be coming to a close with the Final Shape expansion, so should live service. The biggest issue with live service, actually there's a ton, but as it pertains to the industry, is that it works very similar to an MMO. As we remember years back, every publisher wanted his own WoW type MMO, and that movement crashed and burned because there are only so many players and so much time in a day. So in the case of live service, the industry flooded the market with them and almost all of them drowned. For every Destiny or Warframe that had some type of success, you have 10 other failures like Anthem, Marvel's Avengers, Lawbreakers, The Culling, or Babylon's Fall. When looking at live service games, it feels like Highlander.
There can be only one!
There is just not enough players and money to go around. When it comes to early access, this is an interesting one. I don't too much mind players testing out games because this at least allows for some change and additions, and if you're willing to wait when you can buy the game full price, you might have a great experience. Baldur's Gate 3 comes to mind. But not every early access games goes to plan, or hits for that matter, and now you've basically paid to test a broken game that never becomes what you hope. That's really no different than a live service game that promises to fix and add with some arbitrary roadmap that may never get done. I'm looking at you, Anthem. I think Palworld is an example of a good early access game, but even in that, we don't know what the game will look like a year from now, or if anybody will even be playing in that time, or when it'll come out of early access. So what about subscription service? This is my favorite of the three, but it still comes with its own set of issues. Look at Game Pass, since it's the best of the bunch. It's awesome if you have hundreds of games to choose from, but what if you only play certain types of games and you've already played the ones you're interested in? Even more so, we have seen broken games come to Game Pass more than once, and the question being asked, is Game Pass just a testing ground for games that should have been finished but aren't? Doesn't that sound familiar? Where have I heard that before? Oh wait, live service and early access games. This brings us back to square one, that gaming is going through a shift and they don't quite have a good solution. Each seem to require us as the consumer to either pay a ton more money, pay to test the games that we want to play, or a combination of both. I want to know what you feel would be a suitable solution. I wanted to share a comment from my previous video. At Madrid 737 talked about how they did a calorie deficit and worked out multiple times a day and did a fantastic job of losing 75 pounds. But it was consistency that was the problem. As he said in his comments, well, this burger can't hurt. So let's start with how to stay on track even after hitting your goal. This is the hardest part for many. To be honest, there is a solid solution that most people hate the idea of. How do I hit my goal and keep up afterwards? The answer is don't diet or set one goal, but create a lasting lifestyle change. When you set a health goal and work your butt off to meet it, we tend to feel great, but then we feel it's okay to indulge a bit. We already know that we have done it once, so we cheat here and there and just say it won't hurt. Truth is, it will hurt a lot. If you have ever hit a weight goal or a muscle threshold, you know once you lose it, it is 2 times as hard to get back where you were. Just because your body will not respond to you the same way it did the first time. So if you walk for 30 minutes a day to lose the weight the first time, that won't work the second time. You'll need to up the ante. You have to make a lifestyle change. So instead of saying, I'm going to give up sodas until I hit a certain weight or muscle mass, you say, I'm a substitute green or black tea for soda. I'm going to use ground turkey or lean chicken in place of fatty hamburger. I'm going to stop eating white bread and use wheat instead. These changes allow for your body to get used to the changes, and soon you won't even miss them. That is the proper way to get and keep your results. Now, I will not say it's easy because it isn't. I struggle with it when I get with my family for the holidays or going out with my kids because it's a lot harder to say no to foods and drinks that I love. So you want to practice a routine day in and day out so it becomes second nature so that those urges are less prevalent. If you have any tips that has helped you, please leave them in the comments just like at Madrid 737 did so we can learn from each other. Remember, you are the hero of your own game. Make the most of it.
There's no shame in cheating, if you admit you cannot solve my challenges.